We must never fear. Anything that seeks to instill fear is undemocratic and should never be celebrated.
What if the most powerful man in South Africa is not the president? What if he doesn't sit in the union buildings in Pretoria, but instead in parliament?
I only fear God. I don't fear anyone. If it means death, let it be. Why should we be intimidated here and be threatened for thinking?
Dressed in red beret, shouting at those in power, unafraid of being thrown out. This man is Julius Malema. Loved by many, feared by the politicians, and respected even by his enemies. He is the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, and today we ask, is Julius Malema actually the most powerful man in South Africa? Julius Malema was born in 1981 in the township of Seshego, Limpopo. Raised by a single mother who worked as a domestic helper, Malema grew up without wealth, without privilege, but never without fire. At just 9 years old, he joined the ANC's youth structure. His first mission was tearing down apartheid election posters. Imagine that, a child, barely 10, already part of the struggle. That moment lit a fire in him, and it was only the beginning. But how does a boy from Seshego rise to challenge the giants of South African politics? Fast forward to 2008, Julius Malema was elected president of the ANC Youth League. The Youth League has always been powerful. It produced leaders like Nelson Mandela and Walter Sisulu, and now it had Malema, a young man with no fear in his vocabulary. He declared himself the defender of the poor, the landless, and the marginalized. But he wasn't just a politician, he was a performer. His speeches were fire, his quotes unforgettable. He stood firmly behind Jacob Zuma at first, famously saying, "We are prepared to die for Zuma." But loyalty has its limits. When Zuma was accused of corruption, Malema turned on him, calling him a dictator who must go. This was dangerous. Malema had beaten the hands that fed him. Would the ANC tolerate his radical ideas, or would they cut him off? In 2012, just as one would have predicted, Malema was expelled from the ANC.
He addressed about 500 people gathered outside his home.
The reason I'm not shocked or disappointed is because what they are telling us now is what I've been expecting.
To many, it looked like the end. The ruling party had cut him aside. He faced corruption charges, tax battles, and humiliation in the press. He was broke. He was politically homeless. He was finished. At least, that's what they thought. But Malema is not that kind of a man who would disappear quietly. In 2013, Malema returned, not just as a lone voice, but as the founder of a new political force, the Economic Freedom Fighters. Their image was striking: red beret, overalls, a symbol of the working class. Their ideas were simply explosive. Lands must be taken without compensation. Mines and banks must be nationalized. Corruption must end. The poor, the unemployed, the forgotten, suddenly they had a champion. In the 2014 elections, just 1 year after its formation, the EFF won over 1 million votes.
I'm still struggling, but I'm happy the EFF defeated the odds and is going to Parliament. Maybe it will do something for me.
They stormed into the parliament as the third largest party. But this was not the usual opposition. This was war.
Chair, when police reduce crime, you come here and say the ANC has reduced crime. And when police kill people, you don't want us to come here and say the ANC government has killed people. That is inconsistent, Honorable Chair.
South Africans had never seen anything like it. In parliament, while others wore suits, the EFF wore overalls and red berets. While others waited their turn to speak, the EFF shouted, disrupted, and demanded answers. It was Malema's EFF that cornered Jacob Zuma with the now famous chant, "Pay back the money." The drama was so intense that Zuma himself was once forced to flee the chamber mid-speech. This wasn't just opposition, it was theater. It was accountability. It was chaos, and South Africans couldn't just look away. But could Malema keep growing, or would controversy destroy him? Malema has never walked from controversy. He has faced multiple corruption charges. He fought a public war with the taxman, accused of owing millions. He's been accused of hate speech and inciting violence with his fiery rhetorics on land. Many predicted these scandals would end him, but each time, Malema bounced back even stronger. For his supporters, this makes him a warrior who refuses to back down to the system. For his critics, it made him dangerous, unpredictable, and reckless. But love him or hate him, Malema always stays at the center of the conversation.
I've litigated with AfriForum and Roots before, and they've never brought someone so weak as you. I think they've done the worst disservice to themselves.
Malema's ideas reached the White House, literally. US President Donald Trump tweeted about South Africa's land expropriation debate, spiking global headlines. In fact, he invited President Cyril Ramaphosa, whom he made caricature of.
As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that.
In his usual defiance, Malema challenged the US president to invite him. He will know how to reply him. International media began to cover Malema as the face of radical African politics. To the world, he's either a revolutionary or a threat. Think about that. A man who doesn't lead the government, yet his words echo across the globe. So, if even the world pays attention, how much power does Malema truly have at home? Power is not always about position. Cyril Ramaphosa may be the president. Johan Rupert and Patrice Motsepe may have the billions, but Julius Malema has something rare, the ability to move people. He commands stadiums, he dominates headlines, he forces the ANC to debate issues they'd rather flee from. And perhaps most importantly,
I'm feeling super excited. The fact that we've made it in Parliament, ANC should watch out.
he connects with the youth, the future of South Africa. So, is he powerful or just unstoppable? Some believe Malema will one day be president. Others think his true destiny is to be a kingmaker, deciding on who rules, even if he never sits in the top seat himself. Whatever the case, one truth is clear. South Africa without Julius Malema is unimaginable. He is not just a politician, he is a force of nature, a force to reckon with. So, is Julius Malema the most powerful man in South Africa? On paper, no. On bank account, no. But in influence, in fear, in admiration, and in conversation, many would say yes. From Seshego Town Hill to shaking Parliament, Malema's journey is a story still unfolding. And whether he becomes president or not, one thing is certain: you cannot ignore him. Now over to you. Is Julius Malema the future of South Africa, or its most dangerous disruptor? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.